Blue X cannot achieve these goals alone. We need a coalition of actors, governments, investors, business, and civil society to drive this agenda forward. First of all, I would like, obviously, to thank Mark and the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy for the invitation for being here with such a distinguished audience. Second, obviously, I have to have this comment. I was not expecting to have my flag behind me since we are a small country, but you are always surprising me. Thank you, Mark and the Institute, for this effort of having all the flags here. As chairman and CEO of Cabo Verde Stock Exchange, Cabo Verde, a small island in West Africa, it is an honor to stand before you today at the crossroads of climate resilience, economic transformation, and sustainable development. We gather here not just as policymakers, leaders, investors, and academics, but as global citizens bound by a shared responsibility to safeguard our planet and ensure a prosperous, sustainable future for future generations. In January, the World Bank launched the Country Climate and Development Report, CCDR, for Cabo Verde. This report is more than an academic exercise, is a roadmap, a call to action, and a beacon for the urgent steps we must take. The key question we must ask ourselves is, how do we finance the future we envision? Cabo Verde's climate imperative, the challenge before us. As a small island developing state, Cabo Verde is on the front line of the climate crisis. Let me take here to highlight the following. 99.7% of Cabo Verde's territory is sea. As an island state, the ocean impacts every part of Cabo Verde's economy and society. And as you know, oceans are the most affected by climate change. We do not speak of climate change in abstract terms. We live its realities daily. Rising sea levels threaten our coastal infrastructure and the very foundation of our tourism-driven economy. Severe water scarcity, intensified by prolonged droughts, endangers agriculture and the availability of potable water. Economic vulnerabilities, such as dependency on imported fossil oil and food, expose us to global market shocks. The CCDR warns that without intervention, climate change could lead to GDP losses of up to 3.6% by 2050. For a nation like ours, this is not just economic statistic, but a direct threat to livelihood, social stability, and long-term prosperity. The financial mandate, mobilizing $842 million for climate resilience by 2030 and $2.6 billion by 2050. To navigate this challenge and build a more sustainable future, Cabo Verde must mobilize $842 million in climate investments by 2030 and $2.6 billion by 2050. This is obviously a substantial amount for a country like Cabo Verde, but is also an opportunity to reshape our economic trajectory. The identified priorities are clear: accelerating renewable energy projects, reducing dependency on fossil fuels and enhancing energy security, water and agriculture resilience, investing in smart irrigation, water conservation, and sustainable agriculture to ensure food security, and third, developing climate resilient infrastructure, protecting coastal cities, reinforcing transportation networks, and adapting urban planning to a challenging climate. These investments obviously are not expenditures. They are investments in the future resilience of our people and economy. Blue X, a catalyst for sustainable finance. How do we finance this transformation? The answer lies in innovative financial mechanisms, and Cabo Verde is taking a bold step forward in this area. The Cabo Verde Stock Exchange, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, has launched BlueX, a dedicated platform for green, blue, social, and sustainability bonds. Housed at Cabo Verde Stock Exchange, the BlueX platform is facilitating investment in innovative, sustainable projects, unlocking private finance for high-impact ventures. BlueX also seeks to capitalize on Cabo Verde's natural position as a strategic pivot between Africa, Americas, and Europe, a user-friendly digital platform that connects Cabo Verde to regional and world markets. BlueX provides Cabo Verde with an opportunity to pioneer blue economy-oriented sustainable finance while orienting private capital in ways that serve people and the planet. Through BlueX, Cabo Verde aims to successfully transition away from aid dependence, diversify its source of finance, promote entrepreneurship, become more connected to the key markets, and inspire other small island developing states. Still within the scope of BlueX project, in 2022, the Cabo Verde Stock Exchange, in partnership with the Atlantic Technical University, developed one of the world's first blue taxonomies. This milestone positions Cabo Verde at the forefront of sustainable financial innovation, establishing a clear framework for identifying projects and activities eligible for financing by issuing blue bonds. BlueX in action. Since its inception, the BlueX platform has demonstrated tangible success in mobilizing capital for climate resilience and sustainable development. Between 2022 and 2024, BlueX has facilitated 7 sustainable issuances, raising a total of 41 million euros and attracting 182 investors. This achievement underscores 3 critical aspects of BlueX mission. First, scaling access to sustainable finance. BlueX has provided crucial avenue for funding climate projects in Cabo Verde by offering a transparent and inclusive platform for green, blue, and social bonds. Second, strengthening public-private partnership. Strategic partnerships and collaborations, including the Luxembourg Green Exchange and other global financial institutions, have supported this issuance. Third, enhancing market credibility. With a rigorous emphasis on external reviews, allocation transparency, and impact reporting, BlueX ensures that sustainability commitments translate into measurable outcomes. With these successes in mind, we must now look forward. How do we scale this momentum and mobilize the remaining investments required to meet Cabo Verde's 882 million sustainability financing goal by 2030? Based on the results, the capital market should contribute approximately 10% of the annual value estimated by the CCDR by 2030. This contribution is already significant because Cabo Verde is a small market. However, it is imperative to accelerate the pace to achieve the total amount outlined by the CCDR within the established time frame. Furthermore, supranational organizations must actively promote sustainable loans for states using the capital market as a vehicle. This approach promotes greater control and transparency in the use of raised resources. It strengthens the development of the local capital market, encouraging the adoption of practices that are aligned with ESG criteria. To be more specific, donors can play different roles by lend, for instance, their credit rating, allowing them to raise debt at lower cost, support to aggregate multiple projects to help bring issuance to scale, technical assistance in the preparation of eligible and bankable projects, and in building a robust narrative of change and impact that would underlie the bonds framework and attract international investors, covering the additional costs of sustainable bond issuance, for instance, is external review costs. Last but not least, acting as anchor or cornerstone investors, signaling to investors the viability and ESG focus of the bond and enhancing its perceived credibility, building investor confidence, and catalyzing investments from a wider pool of private actors. Excellencies, BlueX is not just a financial tool. It is a statement of purpose. It signals to the world that Cabo Verde is ready to regionally lead in sustainable finance and drive climate investments on a scale. Furthermore, financial markets play a vital role in mobilizing resources for sustainable development, efficiently connecting savings and investment. Call to action. But BlueX cannot achieve these goals alone. We need a coalition of actors, governments, investors, business, and civil society to drive this agenda forward. So today, I extend an invitation to international investors. Cabo Verde is open for business in sustainable finance. Let BlueX be your gateway to high-impact, high-return investments in the blue and green economy. To development partners, your expertise, technical assistance, and concessional financing are critical in scaling climate resilience efforts. Third, to the private sector, let us collaborate in structuring projects that deliver both environmental and economic dividends. Let me conclude, ladies and gentlemen, we stand at a decisive moment in history. Our choices today will shape Cabo Verde's trajectory for decades to come. Through strategic investments, financial innovation, and international partnerships, we can chart a new course, one where Cabo Verde not only withstands climate shocks, but thrives as a regional leader in sustainability. Let us seize this opportunity. Let us act with urgency and, obviously, ambition. And let us prove that a small island nation can lead the world and the region in building a sustainable, climate-resilient future. Thank you very much for your attention.